Okay. Good morning, and thank you very much, everyone, for coming out on this cold day to join us. My name is Peggy Kurtz, and I'm here to explain the Hudson Valley Community Power Program, which is a clean energy program that the village of Rhinebeck is exploring, considering joining. I'm the community coordinator for Jewel Community Power, which is a division of Jewel Assets. Jewel Assets is the program administrator. I'm sorry, I just realized I have to start recording on my phone. Just give me 1 second. Okay, great. So as I was starting to say, Jewel Assets would be the program administrator for the village program. The Hudson Valley Community Power Program is a community-based program that makes renewable electricity available at competitive rates. The program currently includes 12 towns and villages and includes also one city in the Hudson Valley. So your village is exploring this program, and if the village of Rhinebeck decides to participate, the program would launch in the summer of 2025. So, okay. First, I'm just going to read a formal statement and then I'll explain in more detail. So the village of Rhinebeck is considering participation in an upcoming bid for an electricity supply contract through what is called a community choice aggregation program. The program would provide eligible residents and small businesses with the benefits of renewable electricity supply at competitive rates. And the entire presentation will be posted also online. So yeah. So here's a quick overview of some of the topics we'll be going over. I'll explain the benefits of the program and how it works. I'll go over the role of Central Hudson, how enrollment works, and I'll leave time for your questions and discussions. Oh, there are? Okay. Thank you for telling me. Okay, I'm sorry. I didn't see that. Thank you for letting me know. Okay. Thank you for joining us. We've just started a few minutes ago. The aim of the program is to make it easier for more people to access renewable electricity supply at competitive rates. When we talk about renewable electricity, what we're talking about is electricity that is generated from hydropower, from dams, from upstate New York, or from wind power. Quick overview of some of the benefits, and I'll go over in more detail. Clean, renewable electricity, competitive rates, strong consumer protection, and more choice for consumers. All of the same choices. I mean, none of your current choices go away. In fact, you will have probably two additional choices. And I'll add one more potential benefit, and that is potential funding for the village through 2 different state climate programs. Oops. Okay. So the Hudson Valley Community Power Program is what's called the Community Choice Aggregation Program, or CCA for short. Essentially, with CCA programs, municipalities create a large buying group through which residents and small businesses may purchase their electricity supply. These programs enable municipalities to leverage the buying power of that large group, usually thousands of households, to negotiate competitive rates for residents and small businesses. Oops, sorry. I don't know why it's doing that. Okay. Sorry, just trying to admit one other person. Okay. So if you move into the village of Rhinebeck today, Central Hudson will automatically be your electricity supply provider by default. This program shifts the welcome. This program shifts its choice of default supplier to the village so that your elected officials can make the choice that's right for your community. Your village can select renewable electricity as the default electricity supply and do so at a competitive rate through the large buying group. CCA programs were authorized by the Public Service Commission in 2016. They are the state regulator, and the programs are overseen by the Public Service Commission. In 2019, in response to climate change, New York State passed groundbreaking climate legislation, which mandates an unprecedented transformation of the state's electric grid. The electric grid must be powered 70% by renewable energy by 2030. So that's just 5 years away at this point. And it must be 100% carbon-free by 2040. The state cannot meet these goals, which will ultimately help to protect our communities and our own families without local action. The program we're discussing today helps communities take a major step in the direction of those goals for renewable electricity. And in fact, state regulators recognize CCA programs with renewable electricity as one of the most powerful climate actions a community can take. CCA is a growing movement across the country and in New York State. CCA program started in New York State with a pilot program in Westchester County in 2016, and today close to 2/3 of Westchester communities are in a similar program. So let's take a look at how this actually works in terms of the logistics for consumers. Central Hudson remains as your utility, delivering the energy for delivering the electricity. In New York State, the utility no longer actually supplies the energy for the electricity. The utility essentially has become the middleman, delivering the electricity to the community, to you, the customer on the right-hand side. What changes is the source of the energy for electricity, all the way to the left of this slide. Instead of the utility purchasing electricity for you from power plants, the power for the electricity is supplied through the CCA program with the option for renewable energy. With CCA, the utility, Central Hudson, continues to deliver the electricity, repair and maintain the lines, and bill the customers. They are still the ones to call in the event of power outages, which should be no more frequent than before. So you can see the same distinction between supply and delivery on your electricity bill. If your municipality decides to participate in the program, going to show you how your electricity bill will look if you decide to participate as a household. This is page 2 of a Central Hudson bill. Within the electricity portion of your bill, there are 2 subsections. Delivery as at the top, delivery of the electricity in the green box, and this portion does not change because the utility continues to deliver your electricity. What does change is the supply portion of your electric bill in the red box at the bottom of page 2. And that's where you'll see changes if your municipality, if the village decides to participate, and if you decide to participate in the program. So this is a bill for a participant in a past program. You can see in the red box the name of the supplier that was chosen in a bidding process, and the supplier in this particular example was Direct Energy. That's where you'll see the name of, can you see that? It says electricity supply count, and then under that it says your electricity supplier is Direct Energy. That's where you will see the name of the new supplier if your municipality decides to move forward with the program. Under here, where it says electric supply charges, you see that for this particular customer, that household used 761 kilowatt hours at, and then you see the rate, 6.361 cents per kilowatt hour. This was obviously a long time ago, if that was the rate. And then you see the charge for the total electricity supply charges was $48.41, which is 700, the kilowatt hours times the rate. Both your delivery charges, which go to the utility, and your supply charges as part of the CCA program are calculated, of course, based on how much electricity you use, which is measured in kilowatt hours. Okay, so now let's talk a little bit about enrollment. Most Central Hudson customers are eligible to participate. CCA programs are what's called opt-out programs. That means that those who are eligible are automatically enrolled in the program if they do not opt out, but can opt out with no fees at any time. These are the categories of customers who are not considered eligible. As I mentioned, most Central Hudson customers are eligible, including both residents, homeowners, and renters that have their own Central Hudson accounts, and small businesses. But these are the customers who are considered not eligible. So first, there's what's called ESCO customers. ESCO customers are energy service companies. That's what ESCOs are. Or you can think of it as third-party electricity supply contracts, where it's a direct contract. And we can talk about this more in the Q&A if it applies to any of you. A second category is those who have placed a block on their account. These are customers who ask the utility to ensure that they're not enrolled in supply from third parties. HEAP recipients or Home Energy Assistance Program recipients are considered not eligible. Customers on time of use accounts are also considered not eligible, and larger commercial customers with what's called demand accounts. So we can talk about any of these categories in the Q&A if they apply to any of you and if you're considering participating in the program. Eligible customers will receive a mailing with information about the program in advance of the program launch, obviously, if the village decides to participate. That mailing will give you you will get that mailing if you're if you don't fall into one of the other categories that I just showed you, if you're ineligible for the program. That mailing will give you 3 easy ways to opt out, if that's your preference. With a postage paid reply card, it's really a reply card with a postage paid envelope. You can also call the helpline. I'll give you that number in a few minutes, or through the online enrollment/unenrollment form. You can also change your option within the program through the helpline or the online form. Okay, in terms of timeline, if the village decides to accept an electricity supply bid through the program, then a mailing goes out to all eligible households and small businesses. At that point, we will know the rates. This packet will include the rates, the benefits, the terms, conditions, frequently asked questions, more information sessions. It will also include information about how to opt out, including that reply card with postage paid envelope. That will be followed by a 30-day opt-out period, and we'll have additional events, as I mentioned, during that period. The difference between this initial 30-day opt-out period and opting out once the program begins is that once the 30-day period is over, if you have not opted out, you will be automatically moved into the program. If you opt out during the opt-out period, you will not be enrolled in the program. If you opt out after the 30-day period, it will take 1 or 2 billing cycles to leave the program and return to supply from Central Hudson. After the 30-day opt-out period, the program will launch. And then on your next bill after that launch date, if you're participating, you should see the name of the new supplier in the supply portion of your bill, where I showed you before, and the new rate. So I just want to make sure I didn't skip a slide. No. Okay. Does the program replace your utility? Now I'm going to go through some frequently asked questions and then open it up for your questions. Does the program replace your utility company? No, you continue to pay your Central Hudson bill. Central Hudson remains responsible for delivery and maintenance of the electric grid and billing. Does it impact the reliability of your electricity? No. Your utility continues to deliver your electricity and provides the same service whether you participate in the program or not. Oops, I'm sorry. Okay, will the program save you money? Savings are not guaranteed. When people ask us, will this program save me money? What they're really asking for is a comparison with the utility rates going forward, but utility rates change from month to month, and no one knows what the rates will be ahead of time. So there isn't any way for us to really make that comparison. Okay, what if I want to change your supply? What if I want to change my supply choice? Once the program launches, you may call the helpline or fill out the enrollment change form on the website to change your supply selection, opt out of the program, or opt back into the program with no fees or penalties at any time. Can you participate if you have your own solar panels or if you already participate in community solar or community hydropower? Yes. Even if you use solar power or participate in community solar or hydropower, you're still required to have a supplier on your utility bill to cover any electricity not provided by your solar or hydropower. And I can answer more questions about this in the Q&A if you'd like. What happens when the program ends? When the contract ends, your municipality may choose to renew participation in the program. If not, you will automatically switch back to Central Hudson, selecting your supply on your behalf. I like to end with some of the benefits. There's the opportunity for at least 50% renewable electricity, competitive rates, strong consumer protection, no individual contracts, and no exit fees at any time. Last slide. This is the contact information for the program, which will be posted. It is already posted on the website, which is hudsonvalleycommunitypower.com. You can call the helpline. I'm going to read the information for those who may be on the phone. The helpline is open Monday to Friday, 9 to 5. You can call at any time, leave a message, and we will call you back. The number is 845-859-9099, and there's an email, info@hudsonvalleycommunitypower.com. So now I'm going to stop sharing and I'm ready for questions. And for those who are online, you should be able to also put questions in the chat as well, or unmute yourselves. Yes.
You stated hydro or wind, so no solar in this program? There's no.
No, it's this, at least until now, it has been hydropower from small dams from upstate. And that is for the 100%. And it's for 50%. Let me read you a statement about the 50%. But not solar. I believe, my understanding is that there isn't a lot of utility scale solar, at least up until now. So it's majority hydropower and then some wind power. So if the village goes with the 50% renewable option, then I'm just going to read you a statement about that. 50% of your electricity supply is matched by renewable energy certificates or RECs provided by New York State renewable power plants. Hydropower, the statement says hydropower, wind, or solar, but it really is hydropower or wind, at least for this program. The remaining 50% is matched by RECs sourced from other U.S. renewable electricity sources that are not tracked or verified by the New York State Department of Public Service. The 50% renewable option is not counted as 100% renewable by New York State. Sorry for the long statement, but I just wanted to clarify because some of it's from in-state for the 50%, some of it's from in-state, some of it from out of state. So I wanted to make sure I was being accurate. Yes.
So when you did, not you personally, but when Jewel gave the presentation at the town board meeting, there were 3 options. But now you're saying there's a 50 or 100%. That's the only 2 options.
So it's possible that what was mentioned was the standard option. So the standard option would be, it would mirror the same mix of energy as the utility. That is still a possibility. Yes, that is a possibility. Yes.
So With respect to rates and comparing,
Mhm.
so currently any individual can opt out of Central Hudson and pick another supplier.
Correct.
How have the rates here compared to other non-Central Hudson renewable suppliers? And how they compare?
That's a good question. Yeah, so in regard to Central Hudson, so sometimes people have come out ahead and sometimes they have not come out ahead. Sometimes they paid more through the program for as opposed to the standard, what's called standard, the utility rate. I don't have an answer for you about the renewable, and I'm not quite sure it would be easy to calculate because those rates are also fluctuating all the time too. I don't know, I'm not sure how to calculate that. You should come out better through the program as opposed to going out on the energy marketplace on your own. You will get, but I can't guarantee that. You will get a contract that has been vetted for you, not only by Jewel, but also by the municipality. There will be no contract. When I say contract, I don't mean, there's no contract for the individual consumer. So that's also a distinct advantage. The rate that you're going to get, at least until now, the rates have been fixed rates. And so you have a guarantee that what you see is what you're going to get. So there's no bait and switch.
So when you sign up for something other than Central Hudson current, there's all sorts of different plans.
Correct.
Some of them are locked in for a year or 2 years.
Yes.
Is that the idea here?
Yes. Yes, but let me state that carefully. I'm sorry, I should have been repeating the questions. So the question was, whether when you sign up within the village program, is the rate locked in for a specific period of time? So the answer is you're not locked in, but the supplier is locked in. So you don't have to worry about that you're coming in at a rate that might be fixed for 1 month or 3 months, but then it might change over time. The supplier is locked into that rate, but you're not locked into the rate. You can leave the program at any time that you want to. Does that clarify?
So the rate might change, but you can always lock it.
The rate will, at least until now, the rate has always been fixed or guaranteed. I can't say for sure until a contract is signed with a supplier, but at least until now, it has always been fixed. And so the rate will, if it's a fixed rate, then the rate will not change. Yes,
I just wanted to. If we sign, the way I view this happening is we're gonna get a contract, and the contract will be for a fixed period of time, whether it be 1 year, 2 years, 3 years, whatever it is. That rate is fixed for those 3 years from Community Choice.
Gotcha.
Where utility rate, as you know, can go. As a comparison, the current contract that they're under right now is, I think, 12 or 13 cents a kilowatt hour. Current utility rates are like 5.5%, 5.5 cents per kilowatt hour, right? But that changes where theirs is a fixed rate. And you're not physically getting the renewable energy, but you're buying onto the grid renewable energy. So there's gonna be 2 times when we get to look at price rates before we make a decision, which will be in August. Until we make the decision based on, they go out on the behalf of 14 municipalities and negotiate a rate. Central Hudson goes out based on so many customers and negotiates a rate. Yeah, so I think you know the basics of it, but for everybody else, that's basically the way the program will work.
Thank you.
yes,
As far as comparing rates, is there no historical data to look at?
there is, yes, yeah. You can see historical data, but just keep in mind, it doesn't tell you what the rate will be going forward.
Obviously not, but.
Yeah.
But to compare what
Yes,
Jewel has offered in a
yes,
certain place with what people in that place.
yes,
Paid over time.
yes,
Quick compare.
yes, yes, that's true. And generally, I think you can, say save, I mean, I know that sometimes they've come out ahead and sometimes they have not come out ahead. Sometimes the utility rate has been less expensive. Another important point of comparison, though, is that what you're going to get through the program will be renewable electricity. Could be 50%, as you heard my statement about what 50% means, or it could be 100%. So that's an important difference. Yeah.
That's the right thing to do. I hope that they tell us, is that encouraging more
Yes.
production of renewable energy?
Yes, these are usually through what's called legacy projects. These are through projects that are already under construction and I'm sorry, not under construction, are already operating, but you're helping to support them and through that encouraging the development of more similar projects. Yes. Okay, I think that you had your hand up over here. Yeah.
Does this program create any additional oversight over Central Hudson?
The question was, does this program create additional oversight over Central Hudson? I don't think so. I know that there's a lot of discussion going on at the regulatory level right now, but no, I don't think this program itself does that. But this program itself is also very regulated.
So they're putting those safeguards in place that Central Hudson. has
I
to
don't
do.
want to try to speak to that. That's really above my pay grade. You know, I know that there's a lot going on. Maybe the mayor can speak to that.
I mean, the bottom line is Central Hudson, as you know, there's three components. There's the transmission rate, there's the electric rate, and then there's the tax rate. What they're doing, and all programs are regulated by the Public Service Commission. Same as this program. That's the only source for regulation for the utility right now. What Central Hudson is doing is they're jacking up the transmission cost a lot. When you see public service announcements now for a rate increase, it's not a rate increase to your electric supply, it's a rate increase to the transmission supply. You're always gonna have that. Even if we opt into this program, utility can say, we're gonna add X amount cents per kilowatt hour to our transmission rate, and it's totally beyond this, and you're still gonna get the higher bill regardless, right? So, you know, the question is, do you want renewable energy? Do you want to have a resource that is putting more renewable energy into the grid? You know, that's the benefit that you're getting here, right? You may, it's undoubted that you're gonna come out ahead, right? In terms of electric rates going up and down, you're gonna see anomalies in utility rates. You saw 2 years ago, when it went up to like 18, 19 cents a kilowatt hour. And then came back down, like currently we're paying my last bill was 5.49 cents a kilowatt hour. Their last bill was 14 cents a kilowatt hour. But you're buying renewable energy,
So
that's what you gotta think about.
So
14
they're not
cents.
gonna charge more for the renewable energy delivery than they would if it was just.
No, no,
No,
no.
their transmission fee is set, and they
It's the
have to
same.
negotiate that with the Public Service Commission, they have to get that approved. And if it gets approved, that says whatever rate increase, everybody pays that rate increase, no matter what you do.
Right, and that's a fixed rate for the transmission, or is that fair?
That's fixed rate based on the Public Service Commission.
Okay.
Yeah,
But it's
would-
going up, and they're in front of the Public Service Commission for another rate increase right now.
But it doesn't change month to month like the energy. cost.
The only thing it changes is, it's based on how much electricity you
Sure.
use.
Yes, good.
You know, you don't pay. You pay a flat fee, but you also pay a fee based on how much energy you're using on that line. Yeah,
So just to kind of reinforce what the mayor said, I'm seeing in my notes that according in 2022, according to the most recent posted environmental disclosure form, only 12% of Central Hudson's electricity was provided by renewable energy. So that's a significant difference. Yes,
I think if we're going to sell this, we need more information. I have to say that when the
Okay.
presentation was made at the time, they had charts. Like if you were 100% renewable, this is what happened. So 100% renewable was a bit above what the standard
Mhm.
customer paid, but you could see that if I was to
Mhm.
use, it wouldn't be the back, you know, you'd have to make the decision based on how much electricity used, but you could see. If you were a 50% customer, then it might be below what's, you know, what your standard. So they had all that information. The other thing I think is important is
Okay.
to actually have a few people that use a lot of kilowatt hours, fewer and not too many, and then show what it would cost, because I went through the last year and my bills ranged from, generally speaking, the 75, 80%, and now even almost, even over 85% of the cost of my electricity is Central Hudson. So the increase is not on your bill, it's just on that portion of the electricity. So you have to sit there and break out the electricity, and if you look at your Central Hudson bill at the bottom, it says, I can hardly read it here, but for this billing period, for average cost of energy, we purchased for you was 0.0582 per kilowatt hour, okay, cents, okay, per dollars, sorry, so it's 5.82 cents per kilowatt hour. So you can use this, you know, to figure out if you know, if you bought something that costs twice as much, you know, it would double that little portion that but it only double that sliver that was for, you know, but somehow you have to break this out for people so that they can get kind of an idea of what's it going to cost. I mean, what do they want to, they do want to know. I mean, some of us just want to go renewable without having to worry about, did I pick a reputable company? Do I, you know, have to pay to get in? Do I have to pay to get out and all that? And you go online and you read all these horror stories. So for some of us, we're really focused on that, but other people, cost does matter. And so somehow that you've got to present them so they can look at it and say that if I use 100, if I use
So then-
200, if I use 500 a month.
So let me just sum up for the people online. So what you're saying is it would be helpful to have graphs. I think that's what you're saying
And charts.
for past performance. And then the other thing is to kind of help people get an idea of how much it will cost. So I really basically the problem is that each household uses widely different amounts of electricity. So, you know, you really basically have to take the difference in kilowatt hours, which of course we don't know because that's going forward, whereas this is going back. Anything we can tell you about past performance is obviously about the past. So, and then multiply it. You'd have to kind of do a little bit of the kind of thing that you did where you look at how many kilowatt hours did you use last year, let's say, as an example. Look at the kilowatt hours, total it for the year, and then multiply that times the difference to get your likely difference in cost.
I mean, I understand the process, but I'm just saying that if we want people to opt in and stay opted in, we have to somehow make this accessible. That's what I'm saying. Make this easily
Okay.
accessible. And if they're 100,
So-
you give them 100 and the 200 kilowatt hour break, and they're halfway in
Right.
between, they just get some kind of sense. of-
So I'm gonna have to start to wrap up, which I hate to do, but I have to do another presentation in a little bit. So I just want to address, there's a question online, but maybe we can exchange emails so that I can contact you afterwards. So there is a question, is there a limit to the number of times one can opt out and opt in of a plan during the year? And the answer is no. No, you can do whatever you want. Like, so very often in the spring and the fall, utility rates will be lower. You could opt out during that period. In the summer, utility rates tend to, there's really no guarantees, but they tend to go up. So you can go back and forth if you have, you just need to keep in mind that each time it can take you 1 or 2 billing cycles to move in and out of the program. Any other last questions? And I'm glad to answer.
You guys have a timeline for like when you're gonna decide whether or not you're gonna go with the program?
No, March, we get our first look at the energy rates. Then there's a second round. I put it in my newsletter, at the poll, my newsletter.
I have a calendar, it's
We're gonna use
after that.
There's 2 times we get to look at utility rate and then the final decision is summertime.
Right, we're gonna get what's called indicative rates that sort of
Right.
indicate the kind of ballpark for the range of prices, and then there will be a period where it's like, this is it, you know,
This is the
and-
final.
yeah, and that can be one day, or sometimes it can be a week, you know.
And then, sorry, opt in, when would it take that?
August.
And then, you know, there, sometimes Jewel recommends not to move ahead. They say, okay, we don't see anything out there that looks good right now. So we're just gonna come back in a few more weeks.
And
Yes.
I know you want to wrap up, but the percentage of non-renewable energy that's just bought on the open market, or it's contracted for
You mean if it's the standard?
the standard?
The standard?
Standard generation.
Yes, it's bought on the open market.
And
Yeah.
Is any of is the energy regionally purchased, or is it locally purchased, or is it nationally?
So, no, it's,
I think he's talking about what Central Hudson purchased.
Well,
Right.
what would, where would you get the energy from? What
so the
suppliers?
renewable energy, as I read you the statement that the 50, with a 50% comes from wind energy from out of state. And the remaining 50% or the 100% come entirely from within New York State.
And-
Hydropower.
Yeah.
100% hydropower.
No, mostly hydropower and some wind power.
And that's
Yeah.
obviously.
Yes.
Supply.
Yes.
What does Jewel get out of this? What's this?
Jewel, okay, that's a good question. Okay, so Jewel gets a fee per kilowatt hour that amounts to about $1 per house, per month, per household.
From where? But you, that's the
From-
money you take?
Yes, that's the money that
Nothing
comes
taken.
back to us, yes, to administer the program. And
But there's no additional bill.
there's no additional fees, there's no hidden fees, there's no additional fees. Everything is going to be in that rate that you see. It's all.
Oh, thank you, Peggy.
Thank you.
I'm gonna go off and
Presentation. Thank you all who came out. Please tell friends and neighbors in the village, there's 2 more info sessions.
So the next one is
January 22nd.
on, that one is online, January 22nd, and then there's another one which was 6. Okay, thank you for, okay. Okay, and I'm glad to answer any questions. Also, if you want to contact me, thank you to those who came online. Thank you very much for joining us. I hope it was helpful. And I'm going to close the meeting now.
Thank you.